Why hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of Paint Fanfare. I'm Emmy. This week has been a very frustrating week. It's been a bust. Basically, I filmed an entire painting. At one point, I was up till 2 o'clock in the morning filming. Basically, when I record my footage, I can only record a certain amount at a time because it's recorded in 4K. With that being said, I can only record about 5 or 6 10-minute clips at a time before I have to dump the footage onto my hard drive. And because of that limited amount of footage I can have on my phone, I then have to delete the files that are on my phone, so the footage files are only in one location until I'm finished filming and then I back everything up. If you know anything about filming or editing or anything to do with video work, back up, back up, back up. Always have your files in at least 2 locations, sometimes people do 3. My paranoia from what happened this week, I've got my footage files now in 3 locations. Anyway, long story short, the footage files got corrupted on the drive and I lost everything. It was very frustrating, but I got myself powered up to do a second painting. It took a lot of creative energy to come up with the second painting, but I actually kind of like it better than the first. At the end, I'm going to show you both paintings side by side so you can see they kind of go together in this little tiny mini series. Anyway, that's the gist of what happened this week. Sorry about it, but this week I'm going to review the TV show Westworld, just the first season, but there will be spoilers. And I'm probably going to throw up some kind of graphic that indicates that there are going to be spoilers when I go to talk about the spoilers. If you just want to watch the painting, I highly recommend just muting it. So first of all, the cast is absolutely stunning. We have Evan Rachel Wood, who plays Dolores Abernathy, Sandy Newton, who is Maeve Millay, Ed Harris plays the Man in Black, Jimmy Simpson plays William, Anthony Hopkins plays Dr. Robert Ford. For those of you who don't know, this show is about robots. For Steve and I, it's right up our alley. We both love sci-fi, so that fits in really nicely. Westworld is kind of this park that was created by Robert Ford and his partner, who he talks about later, Arnold. I just watched the first season recently, so it's a bit fuzzy to me yet on what the timeline is exactly, but spoiler alert, there are multiple timelines being played out throughout the season. By the way, I find that to be one of the most genius things they could have done, plot-wise. In the theme park of Westworld, it's completely peopled by robots that are acting out loops built in for them by these writers pertaining to what life in the Wild West might have been like. Enter our main character Dolores, who is the rancher's daughter in Westworld. She's a robot. She has no idea that her entire existence is a lie. Everything that she says and does was programmed for her, and it's bonkers. A lot of the questions brought up throughout the show are pretty fucking deep. First of all, what is consciousness? I don't know what that is. Science! And one of the characters in the first season says something that has really stuck with me throughout watching the rest of the show. One of the characters asks one of the robots, "Are you real?" And she replies with, "If you can't tell, does it matter?" And that brought up a really interesting point for me, because if you can't tell, if they are portraying these humans, what does it matter? A lot of the morality and conundrums that come up throughout the show is that people are shooting these robots and they're treating them horribly. They're having sex with them whether they're willing or not. What makes that okay? Yeah, they're fucking robots, but Jesus Christ, where's your humanity? Am I wrong there? But I've seen up through season 2, and Dolores Abernathy is probably one of my favorite characters. However, in the footage that has disappeared from my life, apparently has never existed, William has got to be my absolute favorite character of the show. He's portrayed by Jimmy Simpson, an actor whom I adore. And this is probably one of the first times I've seen him in a more serious role. I've always seen him goofy. He was serious in an episode of Black Mirror, which is also one of my favorite shows, and I will be reviewing that at some point. But William's character starts out as so simple, and He just wants to be good and he wants to do good. And then he recognizes something in Dolores that convinces him of her humanity. He sees her differently than other people see these robots. He starts to understand her and he starts to want to help her throughout her journey throughout life. He just wants to figure out the mystery that is her existence and make it so that she can live comfortably. So throughout this adventure that they have together, William and Dolores sort of fall in love, which is a fascinating concept considering that she is a robot, but the emotions that she shows are so very convincing. It's hard to believe that they were programmed into her, even though they make it seem like this is exactly how she's supposed to be acting. It's hard not to see the human in her, to feel for her. At some point, an old friend comes back that they've wronged, and he's seeking revenge on Dolores and William, only to accidentally separate the two. When this happened, it sort of sent William down a much darker path than anticipated. Dolores starts experiencing some memories from her past lives that they've tried to delete from her, but she happens to be one of the oldest hosts in the park. So she's lived a lot of lives before this current one that we're watching. And I just found her storyline with William to be very, very interesting. And throughout the show, you keep seeing this man in black and you're like, who is this guy? What is his drive? He seems evil, but there's something about him that just doesn't quite make sense. And then in the last episode, spoiler alert, the man in black reveals that he is William. He's much older now, and that the viewer has been seeing several different timelines stitched together and edited in such a way that it appears to be one story. Like, it just looks like one timeline, but there are in fact two different stories happening at once. And the story from the past is what Dolores is remembering that has happened to her. And William experienced some trauma when she completely forgot him and left him in the dust. I feel for his character. When Dolores fails to recognize William the next time they see each other, after she's been reset, something dies in that character. He worked so hard to get her the answers that she was looking for. And when he finds out she's alive, he's so excited. And then she doesn't recognize him and he's like, oh fuck, now what? So he kind of takes his own course, searching for this maze that was built into the game, when in all reality, the maze is actually made for the robots. It's their path to find their own consciousness. It's their own inner voice that they're trying to listen to. Which just, oh god, that blew my mind, because we've been hearing about the maze since episode 1, and it's like, what in the fuck is this thing? Anyway, the show, I give it, oh god, probably 5 out of 5 paintbrushes, because this shit is amazing. It invokes some deeper thought than your average everyday thinking process. The acting is incredible. The scenery is gorgeous. Special effects are amazing. The plot is redonkulous. Guys, like really, really thought out. Oh my god, and can we just talk about the music for a second? The music is composed by Ramin Djawadi, and it is done so brilliantly. It is so genius. They incorporate this epic cinematic score that's mixed in with Wild West style piano music. The original music is fantastic. The covers that they choose to do are also just out of this world. In season 2, they cover the song Heart-Shaped Box by Nirvana, and I cannot express to you how many times I have listened to that song in the last week and a half. I am absolutely obsessed with the music. The soundtracks are just, they crawl into your heart. And there's so much more I could say about the show, but alas, this is not a very long video. So is it possible to create something as incredibly complex as artificial consciousness? What is conscious thought to begin with? So many questions. Watch it. Just watch the show. I'm begging you to please watch it. I need to talk to somebody about it. There are too many mind-boggling things that happen to keep them inside of my body. I need to talk about William. I need to talk about Bernard. I need to talk about Anthony Hopkins' acting. Fuck, that man is a genius. All of them are. That's the thing, everybody in this show. If you have any questions about the show or you want to watch it and then comment, please do. I would love to hear what you guys think of it. This is actually a portrayal of Dolores Abernathy from season 2 of Westworld, where things have kind of gone off the rails a little bit. Another spoiler. And of course I've got to show you my painting of William, because I feel like even though there were lessons learned throughout that first one, it was still a really fun painting to make in the end. Anyway, thank you for watching this week's episode of Paint Fanfare. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and ring the bell for more notifications when I put out new videos. Otherwise, follow me on Instagram, and as always, stay creative.